Hi guys, welcome back to Kids First. I'm Zoe, and I'm so honored to be talking to the director of Wendy, and also an Academy Award nominee for so many films like
Beasts of the Southern Wild.
Yes. Yeah. So you directed your first film when you were 6, I believe. That's incredible. So is there any particular film in general that kind of inspired you?
Oh man, so many films. I think for me, I was really inspired by films that I saw as a kid, on VHS, which are long gone. But I remember watching E.T. thousands of times. And
I love that movie.
Oh, good. Yeah, me too. Willow and The Princess Bride. And when I went into this film, I think one part of my mind was very much in that world and wanting to tell one of those sort of classic stories. And then I'm also very inspired by a lot of documentaries by filmmakers like Les Blanc, that sort of take almost mythic things and make them really real. And so Wendy is almost a combination of those things, where it's this big, fantastical story, but it's very much grounded in reality, like it's really happening.
Yeah, and this film has so many different meanings, like age doesn't really matter, and it's kind of about freedom. So what did you want to tell with this story?
You got it. Yeah, I mean, it's very much a movie about freedom, and sort of, it's something that there's this idea in the world that you have to sort of give up your freedom as you get older, that you have total freedom as a child, but then to grow up means to sort of calm down, accept limitations, not do things that are unrealistic, and I wanted to make a film that was defiant of that, both for kids that are growing up and experiencing that, and for adults like me who also get told, grow up, think practically. This film is really about saying no and trying to figure out how to kind of conquer things that are impossible, no matter what age you are.
Why did you choose Wendy? Because I know Wendy, in Peter Pan, she has a lot of different siblings. So why did you choose her to be the main narrator?
Well, I was really interested in her story, which almost really she doesn't really have a story, in a lot of the versions of it. But to me, I was really interested in, the character that gets to experience Neverland, but then also has to leave, and what that feels like, to lose your childhood, to leave it behind, and how you kind of still fight for who you are, even when you have to leave sort of utopia behind. And also, I really, in every version of Peter Pan, Wendy kind of sits on the sidelines and watches as the boys go out and have adventures, and I wanted to create a character in her, that is powerful, courageous, and really the hero of the story, and sort of takes back, in a lot of the Peter Pan stories, she's sort of the mother, and to be a mother in those stories means to sit on the sidelines and fix the clothes when the boys come home. And in this film, motherhood is really a powerful, it's almost like superpower that she has over other people, and I wanted to kind of rewrite that narrative.
And I love this scene, it's one of my favorites, when they're all dancing to music, but there is no music, they have to use their imagination. Do you think that's kind of a metaphor for actors, and do you think that to be an actor you kind of have to be a child yourself?
Yeah, you gotta play make-believe, for sure, and that's part of the reason why kids are such great actors, is because I think as people grow up, it gets harder. You start to lose access to just living in your imagination, and one of the great things with working with kids is that's very close to them. It's not a big jump for them to pretend that they're somebody else or imagine a situation that they're not in. And so, definitely that sort of ability to make believe, and also the ability to believe in things that you can't necessarily see and know that they're true, are really qualities that make actors great and that make kids great actors.
Yeah, and how was it working with the different age groups? Because you had adults and then the children, so how is it directing all of them?
Well, we really look for people, no matter what age they were. The first question I always ask myself is, if Peter showed up and asked this person if they wanted to go to Neverland, they would say yes. And so even though we have 5-year-old children and 70-year-old adults, there was actually a sort of common spirit to almost everybody in the film, of people that really were courageous and wild and had a spirit of adventure,
Yes.
And so, in some ways it's very different, obviously. Adults are very different from children, but really with every character, you're just trying to get to know the person, understand them, and allow them to bring themselves to the role so that it feels true to them as they speak the parts.
And why did you choose a whale to be the mother?
Well, she's, the mother is not exactly a whale. She's sort of...
I was thinking maybe she's a whale.
She's a sea creature, and she's kind of she's sort of a goddess of joy that comes up from the center of the earth. And we wanted to sort of create this idea of a creature that protects joy, that sort of like feeds on laughter and feeds on happiness and protects children from getting old and losing that joyous spirit. And we wanted a creature that also felt connected to the kind of volcano which is at the center of the magic of the movie. And so we wanted to build this whole ecosystem where there's not going to be any fairy dust. There's not sort of whimsical magic. The magic all had to feel very natural, and so we wanted to come from this creature known as the mother.
Yeah, just looking at her made me like smile.
Oh, good.
Was it challenging to film the underwater scenes?
Extremely challenging, yeah. We met these kids. A lot of them were very, very young when we met them. We met Yashua Mack when he was 5 years old, who plays Peter. Devin France was 7. Some of them needed to learn to swim in order to be in the film.
Wow.
And so beyond learning to swim, you also have to learn how to act underwater, which is an incredibly difficult thing to do. Even just opening your eyes underwater can be hard, never mind to express yourself as you're underwater. And so those situations took a lot of practice and a lot of training to be able to focus in all different types of bodies of water. And, these kids were just incredibly brave and talented to perform those scenes.
And finally, what role do you think movies play in everyone's lives?
At least for me, I feel like movies teach you who you are in some ways, especially these kind of myths. They teach us who's a hero, who's a villain. They teach you what it is to be brave, what it is to be a coward. A lot of these sort of ideas about who you are in life, you learn through heroes in movies. And a big reason I like to work on stories that feel mythic is because, I think that you can really affect change and sort of change who a character is in people's collective imagination and try to sort of, inspire people and create new heroes that are more, that are more real than the ones that we maybe knew before.
Thank you so much for talking with me.
Yeah, thank you.